Hi there, and a blessed Advent and Merry Christmas season to you. It is the asterisk most wonderful time of the year trademark. And I'm here to celebrate with you the only way I know how. I'm going to deliver to you my personal top 5 animated Christmas specials from the holidays. Let's get started. We shall. Number 5. Mickey's Christmas Carol. Mickey's Christmas Carol. I want to say this was on ABC back in the day when it was recorded on the exact same VHS that had He-Man and She-Ra's Christmas special or Fat Albert's Christmas special. But yep, and back then Mickey's Christmas Carol was preempted by Donald's snow fight and Pluto's Christmas tree, only to end up in the 25 some odd minute Mickey's Christmas Carol. Alright, let's break this down. Who better to play Ebenezer Scrooge than Scrooge McDuck? That casting they got great. Mickey Mouse is Bob Cratchit, they got him great. Minnie Mouse is Emily Cratchit. You can't have Mickey without Minnie any more than you can have Bob without Emily. I mean, she was basically a silent observer, but because she wasn't about to throw Scrooge out of their home after his miracle turnaround that she didn't know about yet, that would be Miss Piggy's Emily Cratchit perfectly in the Muppet Christmas Carol, but we're talking about Mickey. Let's see here. The Ghost of Christmas Past as Jiminy Cricket, also great casting, just as annoying as he was in Pinocchio. The Bumbling Ghost of Christmas Present as the Giant from Jack and the Beanstalk. Yeah, that was good. The Ghost of Christmas Future. This was a children's program. They were going to pick Pete. And who better for the villain? I mean, we're talking about 1983. Maleficent was around due to Sleeping Beauty, but they weren't going to put her in a children's Christmas program. Where does Mickey's Christmas Carol take its flaw? Forget for a minute that Daisy Duck was supposed to be Scrooge's past flame in the form of Belle. I mean, Disney didn't really have a female duck character close to Scrooge's age, and we're talking about his past girlfriend. Goofy as the ghost of Jacob Marley, Scrooge's former partner and just as devious and vindictive as old Ebenezer. No. Orsh. Orch, well, if it would help deplete the surplus population. No. Anyway, that was Mickey's Christmas Carol in a nutshell. Come the advent of DVD, it would be broadcast alongside Small One, and I had never even seen Small One until the advent of DVD. Come the advent of Blu-ray, it's with Yodelberg, the hockey champ, Pluto's Christmas Tree, The Art of Skiing, and Corn Chips. That's Mickey's Christmas Carol right now. Number 4. Rudolph. Wait a minute. Is that Hermie? Yeah, okay. Rudolph. Sorry. Everyone was a jerk to Rudolph in this movie, and Santa was a jerk to everyone in this movie. I mean, yeah, I guess it was the stress of the holiday, but the Santa Claus and Rudolph had problems. I mean, snapping at the elves, snapping at Mrs. Claus, discriminating against Rudolph as the second person to do so after his own father did. Why is that Kris Kringle such a royal ding-a-ling? No. This is not Rudolph's story of redemption. It's the story of redemption for everyone around him. As soon as they figured out that Rudolph could be of use to them, and Rudolph, such a forgiving soul, threw away the past of how he was treated. And you throw in the part about Hermie the Elf, or the Island of Misfit Toys, or the Bumble's redemption story. There you go. It was a nice enough classic movie, and in honor of Jules Bass, I had to pick something from Rankin Bass films in memory of Jules Bass. Not sure if Arthur Rankin Jr. is still around anymore either. Maybe the problem is I didn't watch Rudolph in my childhood. I watched him as an adult on these DVDs, yes. That might be the problem. Number 3. Mr. Grinch. Do. Yep. And if we're going to talk about the Grinch, we're talking about the Chuck Jones Grinch that I grew up with. Not the Jim Carrey Grinch that at least gave him a backstory, and absolutely never the Illumination Grinch that left nothing on the table, cheaply done, cheaply animated, butchered her character. Just anyway, The Grinch. Number 3 for my favorite holiday TV specials. The Grinch's small heart, that was 2 sizes too small, grew 3 sizes. And all of the Who's down in Whoville joyously celebrated that their former enemy had an over-enlarged heart and could possibly... No. In the world of the Grinch, an overly enlarged heart gave him He-Man's strength where he could lift the sled. You know, looking back, the Grinch was just against noisy neighbors who had no respect for his right to celebrate Christmas in peace in his cave. I can sympathize. I mean, the Who's were noisy neighbors. Just all right. Where were we? Number 2. Happy birthday, Frosty. I first saw Frosty at my grandparents' house down in Allegan. My grandmother showed him to us. Yep. And we're talking about the original Frosty. We're not talking about the direct-to-video release. I will not watch it. I have never seen it. I've aged out of watching it. Now, was Frosty a pretty bumbling snowman, pretty much a bumbling anything? Yes. He was also first born as an adult. All right. And Professor the Magician Hinkle, I think. And Professor Hinkle and his hat and God, the rabbit. The rabbit. Hocus Pocus the rabbit. Yeah. Little Karen, who would think it was perfectly fine to travel in an icy train car with Frosty as long as she was home in time for dinner. Yeah, it was. Those were some fun memories of watching Frosty at my grandparents' house down in Allegan. And I wouldn't remember all of this except the advent of VHS was around back then, so they obviously taped it for us to watch any old time we wanted to. And it ended with the classic CBS logo sting and theme music, not the classics media and dead silence. Yeah, that was a part of the production for me. Alright. Christmas specials 5 through 2. What a time to talk about the honorable mentions. It was very difficult to call these guys honorable mentions, not include them on the list. The Fat Albert Christmas Special. Yes. Fat and his friends are, Albert and his friends are putting on a Christmas play. They're practicing a Christmas play in their clubhouse to show their family. Because this is how Philadelphia junkyard gangs behaved. This was their type of activity around the holidays. This was very much junkyard gang activity, according to Filmation. Well, they're preparing to honor their families with a production of the Nativity play. Good mean old tightwound Tyrone starts banging on the clubhouse door because the clubhouse is sitting on the one piece of property in town that he can't have. Rudy, being Rudy, insults him, makes him even madder, and he's definitely going to knock down the clubhouse now. They throw him out, and then hear yet another knock on the door, and thinking it's going to be Tyrone, dive behind the Christmas tree, and somehow every member of the junkyard gang besides Fat Albert fits behind the Christmas tree. Albert's the one who finally opens the door, looks down, and spots little Marshall and his parents. They're a destitute, down on their luck family with a mother who's getting ready to have another child. Being the junkyard gang, and this being even further Philadelphia gang activity in the late 70s, the Cosby kids try to help them find a hospital to have their child. In the meantime, they set up the clubhouse as a place to stay for them, and it occurs to Fat Albert that Tyrone is getting ready to hit the clubhouse with a wrecking ball. The Cosby kids break off to go find a doctor willing to see a down on their luck family without insurance, and Fat Albert goes off to have a nice chat with Tyrone and to go to work for him to try to save the clubhouse. Now that there's a family in there trying to get back on their feet. I'll leave it to big-hearted and louder-mouthed. Mudfoot Brown to remind Tyrone that he was not always the cantankerous old crab that he is right now. That he once did care for someone, that he once loved someone. Come to find out he's recently widowed and has just become more and more cantankerous ever since. Anyway, Mudfoot Brown does what the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future did for Scrooge, and he changes Mr. Tyrone around. Turns out a new baby is birthed in the clubhouse with only the Cosby kids to help deliver it. Excuse me, Bill and Russell did find a doctor willing to travel out there. Right there in the clubhouse. The clubhouse is now a landmark, and Tyrone cannot knock down the clubhouse now. He's had a change of heart. Alright. Honorable mention number 2. Christmas Comes to Eternia. He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special. What is this? I can't do the Macaulay Culkin scream. He-Man and She-Ra honorable mention. You heard me right. You heard me correctly. It's competing against The Grinch and the Rankin Bass Christmas classics. Yes. The twins are getting ready to celebrate their birthday, and it's their first birthday together again after Adora was rescued from the Horde and reminded of her family out on Eternia. There's a glaring issue here where the last time that Prince Adam had a birthday, it was in Season 2's The Great Books Mystery, and there was not a speck of snow on the ground anywhere. But I digress. Anyway, moving Adam and Adora's birthday around to fit around Christmas is probably the least of what this episode did. Orko somehow winds up on Earth and doesn't end up with a lynch mob after him because, well, he's Orko and he's now on Earth. And rescues a pair of Earth children. Rescues a pair of Earth children, yes. From an avalanche. Well, they wind up accidentally on Eternia with them while their folks are getting ready to celebrate Christmas on Earth. Meanwhile, Queen Marlena has finally explained the magic of Christmas to her fellow Eternians when she must have lived on this planet for about 20 years now, and she's just now telling Randor about Christmas. So, anyway. So they decide to make a Christmas party out of the twins' birthday and combine the two celebrations. Well, Horde Prime on Etheria. Horde Prime on Horde World, excuse me. He didn't live on Etheria with Hordak. Cannot have a spirit of goodness, kindness, and joy interrupting his rule of the galaxy. Especially on Eternia, where the Horde failed to get a foothold in the first place. Well, he summons Hordak and Skeletor both to capture the two Earth children, and to which he sees the spirit of Christmas connected to. By now we're about 15 minutes or so into the episode, so what comes next is a half hour of the children being chased all over Eternia, Etheria, Eternia again, finally being rescued and placed back on Eternia, as they trade hands between the evil horde, the monster, Skeletor, the Monstroids, Skeletor again, and with Skeletor they remain until Hordak shows back up to try to grab them yet again as his prize to deliver to Horde Prime. Hordak and Skeletor's relationship never changes. Well, but Skeletor's demeanor does toward the end of the episode, much to his own chagrin, when he finally tries to rescue the Earth youngsters. And, yeah, well, it looks like you're finally feeling Christmas spirit, Skeletor. It makes you feel good. Well, I don't like to feel good. I like to feel evil. Okay. Being Filmation, there's a nice happy ending where the kids end up back on Eternia yet again to enjoy their Christmas celebration just before Man-at-Arms teleports them back to Earth. Complete with a pair of flying belts that they now have to explain to their parents what these gadgets even are and where, let alone where they came from. This was a lot better when I was about 5 and first viewing it on the same VHS and on which we had also recorded Fat Albert and Mickey. Anyway, number 1. My favorite of the TV Christmas specials. Where is it? Oh. Good old Charlie Brown. Christmas song is here. Yes. Good old Charlie Brown and Snoopy. Charlie Brown Christmas. Wherein the magic of Christmas, the spirit of the holiday, causes the other Peanuts kids to finally say something remotely decent to good old Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown is down and depressed, even more so than usual, because not only is he well aware that the other kids just do not accept him, he has lost track of the true meaning of Christmas. He finally rediscovers the true meaning of the holiday thanks to Linus, and the Peanuts gang finally decides that Charlie Brown is a fellow child and fellow human being who should at least be treated civilly when he delivers them their tree, the Christmas tree for their Christmas play. And he picks the Christmas tree that must feel about the same way that he does every single day. What kind of a tree is that? Well, at some point, the magic of the holiday creates a royal turnaround, and I never thought it was such a bad little tree. It just needed a little love. And the Peanuts kids surprise Charlie Brown by decorating the tree for him and gather around it to perform Hark the Herald Angels Sing over the end credits. It's a classic And you should at least watch Charlie Brown every single year with your own kids. Alright, there you go. My favorite classic Christmas holiday specials. Blessed Yule to all of you, and a Merry Christmas.